So when tomorrow starts without me, and I'm not there to see, if the sun should rise and find your eyes all filled with tears for me, I wish so much you wouldn't cry the way you did today, while thinking of the many things we didn't get to say. I know how much you love me, as much as I love you. I know you'll miss me too. But when tomorrow starts without me, please try to understand that an angel came and called my name and took me by the hand and said my place is ready in heaven far above, and that I'll have to leave behind all of those I dearly loved. But as I turned to walk away, a tear fell from my eye. For all my life, I always thought I didn't want to die. I had so much to live for, so much left yet to do. It seemed almost impossible that I was leaving you. I thought of all the yesterdays, the good ones and the bad, and thought of all the love that we had shared and all the fun that we had. If I could relive yesterday, even just for a while, I'd say goodbye and kiss you and maybe see you smile. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Chat About Death. Something different. That beautiful verse was When Tomorrow Starts Without Me. You may have heard that on other portals before, but I just thought listening to this piece of music, that sort of came to my head. So, hope you enjoyed that. I'm joined again with Emma, my wife, and today we're going to be talking about a few different things. One being the history of the hearse, and a few other. What else are we doing?
Oh, I went down a rabbit hole. We've got quite a few things.
Yeah. So welcome. I hope you're whatever you're doing. Well, you're actually listening to us, so that's a positive. That you're enjoying your day or evening or wherever you are at the moment. Hope you're enjoying that. So I'm going to read a little bit here about the history of the hearse. Before we had hearses, most people used a hand-drawn cart called biers to transport their loved one. The hand-drawn bier evolved to a horse-drawn carriage in the 17th century. You know, the weird thing is that the pins that we have in the back of our hearses are called bier pins.
Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't really know where biers came from, but there you go. Mm-hmm. Which shows, while biers are considered to have been the only transportation of the dead, there was evidence found that shows that loyalty used horse-drawn carts as early as the 14th century. Of course they would have.
Yeah.
You know, don't worry about
they were the elite, so the royals had to.
Don't worry about the plebbies on the street. Obviously, we've grown with hearses are just getting more elaborate, but over those years, there was one which was Henry VIII. He had 3 hearses that were said to be 14 feet tall. That's huge. Pulled by 8 horses and strangely made from wax. Mm-hmm. What a weirdo.
Well, he was Henry VIII.
Yeah, it was thought to be faster and easier to mould and carve, though there was no physical evidence that could remain, only that has been seen in drawings and paintings. So what did they destroy it?
Well, being wax, they would have just had to put a wick in it and they'd be right.
Oh, it turned into a candle. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you. In the 17th century, horse-drawn hearses were starting to be seen to be used, and it was also around that time that the term hearse was also being used more. The carriages had were built in frames that would prevent the coffin from slipping, and often would have glass at the sides to allow you to see the body in its way to their final resting place. So that's obviously where it all comes to, and it's like, to me, it's a show pony thing. I'm not a real big fan of that in today's world, because probably more so that people are scared or didn't like people looking at them. So for me, that's why I tint our vehicles. I'm not I mean, people can still see in, but I think it's the respect for that person. Going down the highway with these huge windows and everyone can see, you might as well lay in the back of a car naked. I mean, it's nearly
or a neon sign on top.
Yeah, it's nearly the same as that. That's my thing. During the 19th century, horse-drawn hearses were starting to become more and more elaborate, with heavy influences of the Victorian style of mourning. The craftsmanship was amazing. They would be draped with heavy velvet curtains and with images of angels, doves, and even personalised decorations. The largest hearse made during this time was over 4 metres high and 6.5 metres long, and it weighed almost 3 tonnes and needed 8 horses to pull.
I know, insane.
Yeah. The most iconic and famous hearse is the 1959 Cadillac Miller Meteor hearse, which is due to the film Ghostbusters, which used the design as an ambulance version. The most expensive would be the Rolls-Royce Phantom Hearse B12, which starts just over $1 million. Now, if I could have a Cadillac hearse like that, I'd be in heaven.
Or you would be, yes.
They're just so hard to get. And look, in today's terms, people just say, oh, yeah, they're just a car. Like, even for me to go and get a Chrysler or even a Mercedes full-on hearse, you're looking at probably, $300,000 to $500,000 to have a car. Australian, to have it made. What a joke. Absolute jokes. Basically, a car cut in half and a little bit of steel or metal put in together. And a few, it's ridiculous.
But what was that one we saw the other day? The picture that we were sent.
I don't know the picture that we were sent.
It was like it opened up on the side and the whole side of it came out.
Yeah, the whole, yeah. It's a show pony thing. Once again, I use that a lot, but I just, hearses are used for transportation only. They're not meant to be, with subwoofers and neons and all sorts of stuff happening. It's just a transportation vehicle. That's all it is. But how interesting, now that I know that the buyers, what that means, and when hearses actually started with the sides and the windows.
Yeah, but I think probably also because people were falling off.
Yeah.
So they had to make it safer. And just built from there. Yeah.
A bit silly. All right, what else do we have?
Well, it's not. It's a little bit different. As I said, I went down the rabbit hole. And one of the things that I've discovered since digging into this, because I love historical things, is that I could really get caught down that rabbit hole. And one of the things I found out was, and it sort of has gone on a theme, and it's really weird, but it's informative.
Yeah.
And that's about how some of older tribes and, areas across like the Philippines, the Amazon, all that sort of thing, what they used to do with their deceased. Okay. So one of the things was called endocannibalism.
That sounds like a blood disease.
It does, but hence the name cannibalism. So this was actually a ritual of consuming the deceased.
Oh, yum.
Bit of salt and pepper. It's thought no longer to be practiced, but obviously that's not something that can be confirmed. But it is something that was common across a lot of the tribes in the world. And one of the ones was the Wari tribes in the Brazilian Amazon. And what they used to do is, as a rite of passage for the spirits to pass on to the next realm and for mourners to also be able to handle their grief, when a Wari individual died in the community, they would gather the body and begin a ritual that has been compared to the process of making wine. I'm going to let you think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they believed that part of one of the very important things for the spirit to go to the next realm
It's turning you into a Sauv Blanc.
was because it has a spiritual meaning to them. And they believed that part of the cannibalism both honoured the dead and also transferred the knowledge of that deceased person to the living.
Wow.
And then they'd drink it, would they?
Yes.
Oh.
After it had been gone through all the proper fermentation and things like that.
Oh, yeah, that's gross. No thanks.
Nope.
I'd be knocking up and getting out.
Another, that's why I said I went down a rabbit hole. Another one was in Papua New Guinea, one of the older tribes, the Foray people. They believed they ate various parts of their next of kin as part of their mourning process. And the chief of the West African Junkan tribe, their predecessor, they would eat the heart. Because then they were taking the heart of the previous warrior.
Yep. Nice. Nice.
In the Dani people in Papua New Guinea, when a loved one dies, women or children that were related to that deceased had to cut off some of their fingers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was thought to drive away spirits. It's now banned, obviously, but it was thought to drive away spirits.
Oh, God. Yes, lovely.
Another one I discovered was the Haida people of North America that had a very special ritual for the death of their chief or their shaman. And what they would do is they would crush the body to a pulp and put it in a suitcase box. And then the box itself would be placed on one of those mortuary totem poles. That was, the totem poles where it's been carved out.
No.
Carved out of like a picture or everything. It's a big pole. It's usually got pictures of warriors or anything on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would then be placed in front of the deceased person's house.
The totem pole.
Yep, with the suitcase box in it.
Yeah, it's like they really loved their loved ones.
Yeah, because they were retaining what they could, and it was a way that they believed that they could keep the knowledge that they had learned and pass it on.
Nice. Yeah.
I have one more.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are areas I've never heard of, right? And so one of them was the Benguet, so I could be pronouncing it wrong, of northwestern Philippines. They would blindfold their dead and place them next to the main entrance of their house for a total of 8 days.
Why blindfold them? What's the story with that?
No, and they had to be visited. So people would come and visit and leave gifts and come as a way of sending their respects to the person that had passed away, and they were blindfolded so that the spirits couldn't see into their soul. And the Apayao people, also from the North Philippines, they would bury their dead under their kitchens. They're wrapped in a mat. Yeah.
Why? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've just spilled some sauce. I'm just going to wrap them up. Come on.
They were wrapped in a mat, then placed in a casket, and in that casket they would have items such as food and water and weapons that would assist them in their transition, and then it was placed under the kitchen because they believed the kitchen was the heart of the home.
So you can hear that dripping.
Oh, you're terrible. I'm thinking Ghostbusters with this one.
The caves.
Well, there are caves. It's funny you said that. I wasn't going to talk about it, but
All right, no, we'll get into them. Get into them.
funny you've gone to that. So in Hawaii, they used to have Hawaiian burial caves.
Yeah.
So they have been found on nearly every island in Hawaii, and some remains have been found bound in the fetal position, while others were found laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And at the peak of the practice, the islanders believed that the bones would hold great power, which could be harnessed within the cave. But unfortunately, grave robbing was a very big thing, and a lot of sites have been completely damaged, and modern researchers haven't been able to look more into it. But yeah.
How about these ones here?
So this one here is about the Cavatina people near Manila, and when someone was ill, and you could tell that they were getting close to the end of their days, they would actually choose a tree, and the tree that they chose would be hollowed out, and that is where they would be buried, in that hollowed out tree.
Right.
If someone passed away, obviously like it was an accident or whatever, then the family members would choose the tree.
Pick a tree.
Yep, pick a tree.
And, isn't that weird how it sort of comes around where now people want to get buried as a tree?
Yes.
So it's a bit
pods,
weird. Yeah.
Yes, or they want their ashes to be.
Do we have the information about the coffins on the side of the cliff, or have I already done
You've
that?
already done that, the hanging ones. It's just
That's all right. No,
Yeah,
it'll be on another episode. I was just thinking that.
yeah, that's the hanging coffins.
Nice.
Yes.
Fresh in. Here he is. He heard about us talking about all weird and wacky things. It is the debunker himself, Simon. How are you, Simon?
Oh, how you going, mate?
Yeah. It's very weird because, yes, he did call in, and we thought, hey, what? We're halfway through this podcast, and we might as well, get you in because, you had a bit of, your ears must have been burning. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, man. I got that sixth sense.
That's right. So you're happy to join us for a little bit? Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good. Yeah. So if it cuts out, it's not my problem, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
I hold the button of getting rid of you. If you Yeah. One of the questions that we have been asked a little bit is, can people change funeral directors at any time, even if they already have the deceased? Can you answer that, Simon?
You said that again. You were breaking up a bit.
Break. I said, can someone change funeral directors at any time, even if they already have the deceased?
Yes, they can.
Ah, you sure you don't want to call a friend?
Phone a friend. I don't have that luxury.
Yeah, it's a 50-50.
They either can or they can't.
Yeah, it's a 50-50. You can, yeah. So people aren't physically locked in unless, they've started. Well, I mean, even if they did start doing mortuary care and things like that, at the end of the day, it's up to the family, isn't it, really?
Yeah, well, you can't hold someone's loved one against their will, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's true.
It's not like saying, it's too bad. We've got him now, and now you're stuck with us.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
You can't. Because I think there's a legal ground on that as well. Otherwise, it falls under kidnapping, if not worse.
Yeah. So why do you think funeral directors walk in front of a hearse? What's your reason for that, do you think?
Well, I would think, the reason funeral directors walk in front of the hearse, at the end of services and things like that, is to, in my opinion, is to show respect to the deceased, but also guide. But then there's a lot of safety things to do with it as well. If there's any obstacles along that sort of route, that they can guide around it without the hearse driver having to.
Or losing flowers.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But yeah, it's that's what I think it is anyway.
Yeah.
yeah,
You think-
there's a lot.
think
There's
back-
a lot to it.
Think back to the old days where they'd have their church service in town and the cemetery was just up the road, but no one knew in that cemetery where the grave was. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
people walked in front, and it was used to be a part of the festivities, or like what you said about the show of respect for that person. But there was always heads of the church or heads or whatever that wouldn't hop in a car or jump on the horse, and off they went. So it was really purely for what you said about the respect, but also to find the plot.
Do you know what it's
The final
called?
plot, yeah.
What that is called?
It has a name. It has a term.
Okay, what is the term?
Paging.
Paging. You were paging off.
Paging.
Paging.
Paging
Maybe we should
off.
start using that term more.
Yeah. So why don't you
It's
go
called
and
paging away.
why don't you go and page away?
Very
Yeah.
common.
I mean, that could be a new thing with a lot of the kids nowadays, because there's all these different words, and we could say, go and page. And they'll go, what? And you can go, yeah, go and walk in front of a hearse.
Yeah, page
Yeah,
off, mate.
Yeah, page off.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen or heard of any funeral gate crashes?
Oh, I've seen, in my experience, I've seen people like, see, what I would call as a funeral gate crasher is someone who obviously isn't invited, but also people who just show up willy-nilly whenever they choose.
Yeah.
As well, even if they have the invitation, if they're showing up at the last minute or anything like that. Because in my opinion, if you have an invitation and says start by 9 and you rock up at the end of it, that's kind of crashing the service a little bit, because
Yeah.
it's conflicting with
And how many
where that
people
person
do
should be at that time.
how many people do you see doing that?
A lot. Every service,
Yeah.
there's always someone who comes late, or there's someone who says, "Oh, I haven't got an invitation, but it's a good friend of mine. I thought
Yeah,
I'll
oh,
just
can I
come
just
and
write in
pop
the
I
book?
wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah,
just
I
write in the
wasn't. I
book.
wasn't going to come, but I thought about it all service, and I thought,
Yeah.
what, I want to be there for the ending.
So there's a man, or there's a few, but is a man who is has been hired as a funeral gate crasher. So he has
So people pay him.
people pay him, and he's known as a coughing confessor. And he's paid to gate crash funerals.
Yeah.
And graveside services. And what he actually does is he will grant people's dying wishes. So, for instance, he can turn up to the funeral and he can then tell everyone what the person who'd passed away really thought of them. He can be given top secrets that he has to have advised the people. He is paid a lot of money to spill the beans.
Oh, I don't know if I'd be.
Decision.
I
It can
don't
be
know
about
if I'd-
secrets, regrets,
Yeah.
harsh truths.
I don't know if I could be one of those.
Yep. And he is paid a lot of money.
Well, I mean, money's everything, but it's without getting your face punched in, that would be the other thing.
Yeah,
Yep,
I mean
and
that's probably the biggest risk.
So you better be a bloody good runner.
But
I'll
he's
tell you
literally
what.
been hired by the person who's passed away.
Yeah.
So he's been paid
Yeah.
ahead of time, and he crashes
Like,
the.
yes,
the-
Jack was a lovely guy, but I tell you now, he hated you.
Yep, pretty much.
Just tell it as it is.
Yeah, no, he hated all of you. He thought you all sucked. Yep. Yeah.
He's
Wow.
written a
I've
television
never
drama
even heard of
series
something
about
like
it.
that.
Oh, there is a
Crazy.
television drama series.
He's written
so,
it. Yep. He's told clients that any serious confessions of crime he takes to the police.
Yeah.
He will read letters. He was asked by an elderly man to interrupt his own burial 2 years ago to tell his so-called best mate that he knew he was trying to have it off with his wife.
jeez.
Yep. He has gone to one where it was a bikie, and he told them he was gay.
Oh, far out.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what's he's Australian.
Is he?
He's in Queensland.
Wow.
He's in Queensland.
He's in Queensland.
Yeah.
But he's also
Pretty
found
hot up
himself,
there. You know, you come out with all sorts of stuff up there.
He's also found himself disposing of embarrassing items in the people's homes. Like they've paid him to go, look, when I pass away, can you get rid of this, and this?
Yeah. Then he sells it on
Jeez.
Facebook Marketplace.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yep.
Facebook Marketplace has got everything now.
it does. Yeah.
Yep. But how weird is that?
So is it okay for a large person, and we're talking probably 200 kilos, to be buried? Is that possible?
Yeah.
What logistical nightmare do you think you would have with 200 kilos of weight on any, like, not, doesn't always have to be burial, but like, yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, even a cremation at that weight is going to be, quite challenging because
Yeah.
like you're talking 200 kilos just for the individual alone, and that's not factoring in the coffin weight as well.
Yeah.
So if you end up using a casket to be cremated alongside with some of those 200 kilos, you're like pretty much like over 300 kilos or
Yeah.
close to it,
Yeah.
But I reckon if you're going to bury someone at that weight in a casket that's a hand lower, then that's even worse. But
You just get family to do that.
But what about the width?
Family, I'm not
About the
not
width?
doing it. You need to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. What about width? Because
Oh yeah, you're limited. It could even end up being a Viking cremation.
yeah, just get that.
Put
get
you
that
into,
bow and arrow in there.
one of those boats and into the Yarra and go. Ding.
well, we know that's illegal. But the reality, like,
Could be the first of.
what happens with all these, like, there's all those TV shows also too about 700-pound life and all that. So more
There
over
is
in
probably
America.
more wide mouth cremation places somewhere. I know out in like Geelong and I think Ballarat or Bendigo's got one. So yeah,
Oh, you'd need them, but in my opinion, I reckon all cremated should be all, the big width ones, all
Yeah.
of them. So that means any crematorium could cater for it.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're more of an obese society now.
People's getting bigger and
Wider,
Yeah.
broader.
yeah. Yeah,
But
there
it's
you
going to be a
go.
nightmare regardless, because carrying from the hearse to the graveside for a burial is going to be a pain. Obviously not,
Yeah.
the cremation side of it's not going to be much of a pain as what a burial would be, but you'd still have your challenges like getting the individual into
I've done a
coffin.
few larger people as burials, and it takes like 8 to 10 people to carry across, and even the bearers, I thought they've really been pushed.
But aren't
My-
they also
That would be
dug
awkward.
only to a certain
No,
amount?
they'll go double grave.
Oh.
Yeah. See, my personal thing would be do your service and then do an unattended burial where you can
Yeah.
get an excavator with strapping and then lower that way.
Yeah.
This whole thing of, carrying across and hand lowering, that is just a nightmare. And you know what? And for me, it would be unfair because you got to try to do that as dignified and respectful for that person. But unfortunately, he or she has got to that size due to might have been medical issues or self-induced. I mean, for the people that are still living, that's a big thing. Whereas there's mechanics out there, mechanical items that can assist with that gentler than
Yeah,
hand
exactly. I
lower.
mean, that's what they're designed for, right?
Like I tell you what, I nearly popped a rivet when I did the lowering, and you had to bring the hearse right up to the grave because you weren't going to be carrying it 10 meters.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
But if they dug a double length grave, would the family be charged for
Oh, yeah.
equivalent of 2 burials?
Definitely.
Essentially, 2 all?
Yeah. So
Gee.
whatever the grave is, and then double it.
At that point, you might as well just cremate.
Well, that's right. Long as you could get the right bits, the right crematorium to do it. And look, if you had to travel to go there, then you have to do it. But even that, that's like nearly on a tray of a truck, really, isn't it? When you think.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. So it can happen. it's just a matter of logistics, really, isn't it? There you go. Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. Well, look, I think that'll do us for this episode. And thank you for the call in, Simon
Yeah, no
Debunker,
worries, mate.
Mr. Debunker, Sergeant Major Bin Diver.
Bin diver, bin
Bin
chicken.
diver, bin chicken.
Debunking,
Yeah.
The debunking bin chicken, bin diving. Oh, yeah, how would you call it? Would you
Oh,
call
I
it
don't know.
Sergeant-
We'll have to come
the
up with something.
debunking, the Sergeant Major debunking diving bin chicken.
Oh, that works. That works for me.
Yeah, yeah. See that on the back of a shirt. Coming soon. Yeah.
You have to separate it by dots. I was like, this looks like a bunch of letters.
All right. Very good. Thank you very much, everyone. And enjoy what you're doing. And we will catch up with you later. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, 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 bye.